What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Your Ex Drinking Buddy with me, your host, Brennan Tassif. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Full video available there. Check out the merch store. Look at all this stuff. We got all this stuff on the merch store. It's all available on the website, BrennanTComedy.com. You can also get my tour dates there. Every show that I have coming up, I'm going to be in New York, traveling the country, doing a bunch of gigs. So check it out. Get tickets at BrennanTComedy.com. Check out the merch store. And lastly, if you really want to support, go to www.patreon.com/BrennanTComedy. And that is where you can find Tales from the Restaurant, where I divulge everything about the celebrities I wait on. And also a little bit of behind the scenes. You'll also get the episodes early, a bunch of bonus episodes. Check it all out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Your Ex Drinking Buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do. Hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from New York City, via Florida, Jamie Freeland.
Yeah.
What up, dude?
Chilling. It's a nice day today. I'm happy to be here with another Florida man. Yeah. Things are good, dude.
You good?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Jamie and I were just talking about levels and the mics and everything like that. And yeah, you're killing it, dude. You're here. You're from Florida. We were rocking and rolling. We met. You were hosting the mics. You took over a couple of the mics.
Yep. Yes,
and that's
sir.
how we met. And then you were talking about Florida. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was you had a bit where you talked about losing a lot of your friends to AA. And immediately I was like, yeah, I wonder if my friends talk about me like that. Because they definitely lost me to AA. Oh, shit. I almost forgot. Before we get too far into anything, plug everything up front. Social media, your handles, where people can find you. This will come out in a couple of weeks, so let everybody know.
Okay. I'm on Instagram at freely_Jamie, and that's about it.
That's it?
That's pretty much all I got.
All right, rock and roll. So you moved to New York how long ago?
4 years ago.
Okay. And you moved from what part of Florida?
New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
Shout out Kudas, baby.
Hell yeah.
Did you grow up there?
Yep. Yeah. I moved away for a little bit, but we moved right back.
Okay.
Yeah, born there and everything.
So are you a Kuda?
I went to Creek, so I'm a Hawk.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. Did you? You went
Fly
to Creek
Hawks,
too?
High Hawks,
Hell
up to
yeah.
the Skyhawks?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Look at us. We didn't even know that about each other. Yeah, I'm a Hawk, baby. What'd you go to Creek for? If you were in New Smyrna, just zone for it, or?
Yeah, they thought it was like a better school. My parents didn't want me to be like a surfer burnout pothead, so they didn't know I could just do that at Creek, though.
You just do it over there. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I went there, God, obviously way before you. I'm much older than you are, but, well, I'm not that much older than you. You just have a very young man vibe to you.
It's the hair.
Yeah.
It's the.
You have like a cool guy, even with your tattoos, and I know exactly how old you are because you told me, and I immediately defaulted to, well, I'm so much older than you. I'm like 2 years older than you.
I was thinking about this today. I'm like a cross between like a beetle with a little bit curly hair, so a little different, kind of like a beetle and like an abusive stepfather. I think that's
Absolutely. So, yeah, when I went to Creek, I was in IB, which is why I went to Spruce Creek, because it was the only one, before FPC, it was the only one in the entire area that had it. But you went there because your parents thought it was going to be a much better school, and then it turned out you were just like, I'll just do this over here.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so my parents were really good friends with the principal of Spruce Creek, Egner.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And so as a consequence...
Wait, what year did you graduate?
08. 08, don't hate.
Oh, shit, 06, baby. God, we were there at the same time. This is... I don't know if the listeners understand this. We were literally in high school at the same time. We're talking about the same fucking people.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
Yeah. Hell yeah, we were probably at the same
Who did
parties.
you know?
And shit.
No, I'm just kidding. Just
Yeah,
go through
like-
your roster of who you knew. No, yeah, because I graduated in 06. So were you a freshman when we had that very successful season and like made it all the way into the playoffs and everything?
So that's when I moved away and came back.
Okay.
So I came back as a junior.
Okay. God, so you missed out on the best one.
Yeah.
God, we crushed that year, man. You missed it.
Yeah. We had a great football team. I feel like we went to
I know. I was on it.
oh yeah. Yeah.
All county, baby. God, this is fun. This is like the burnout and the jock are hanging out.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
I skipped first period to surf and smoke pot. That was my game, that was my game plan. Every
God,
time.
I remember I became obviously a raging alcoholic, but I remember going to classes and like people would come in drunk after lunch, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And now, come to find out, I'm the one who needs to go to meetings. But I just remember in high school being like, "What the fuck? That's crazy." I'm gonna write stuff down. Don't worry, it's just me taking notes. So I don't have to re-listen to the whole thing. I can't believe we're from the same alma mater.
Yeah.
So before we get into all that, because what we're gonna do is we'll talk about you and how you got into comedy, and then we'll go back and talk about the drinking and the partying and some of the circles you hang out with and different friends and things like that. So how did you find stand-up? Because you and I have a similar trajectory. Obviously, we went to the same high school, grew up in the same area, and it was a very niche thing. I found it through Comedy Central Presents, so I'd record it on VHS and I'd watch it over and over. How did you find stand-up?
So I like motivationally on a sad note. I'm sorry. We got to switch off.
As sad as you want.
I got to preempt switching off of this as quickly as possible. But I went through like a dark time in my like late 20s and early 30s.
Okay.
And it was just a really tough time. Like I didn't laugh for like a few years. Like my family was like, we haven't heard you laugh in like 3 years. Like, and then when I moved to New York City, the stand-up capital of the world, right? I was like, this girl I worked with actually. Shout out Rachel Szymanski. She's a comic in New York City.
Shout out Rachel.
And she did it right before me, and then I got into it because like I saw how it was like affecting her and how much she loved it, and then and like I guess when I started searching for kind of like a reason to do it right at the beginning, I was like, I just don't want anyone to feel like that. Like I want like more laughter. I don't want anyone's family to be like, I haven't heard you laugh in 3 years. Like I just want people to like be happy, like because I know what it's, I guess like sometimes when I ask myself like, why the fuck am I going to these like awful open mics, like
Paying money to do it. Yeah.
banging my head against the wall listening to these guys talk about their little dicks or whatever. I'm just like,
Hey, don't shit on my material.
I do those jokes too. It wouldn't be an open mic without it.
Yeah, right.
But like, I'll ask myself like, why am I doing this? And then I'll take myself back to that time mentally, and I'll be like, never again. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want other people to experience joy.
Yeah, we have a very similar path in that sense. I obviously was a very anxious and kid and depressed, and my cousin introduced me to stand up when I was 12, and I would hurt myself and I would do all these things and I'd cry all the time, and I just like, because I didn't know what was wrong with me, similarly to what you're talking about, and I just couldn't find joy in anything. And then when I watched stand up and I was laughing, I was like, oh, for this brief moment in time, I'm having a good time. And so I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh, as I got older, I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to bring that to other people. I want to show other people that even in your worst moments, you could find the funny in it.
Yeah.
Which is why I tell the stories that I tell. And some people are like, oh, why don't you write, I can do impressions and stuff like that. I discovered that at an early age. And people are like, why don't you do that on stage? And I go, because I'm not a fucking impressionist. Like, right. I want to tell these stories on stage. And so we are similar in that sense, where my whole drive, my whole passion for doing it is like, yeah, because I was that kid who thought he had no friends and wanted to die. Yeah. And watching stand-up helped me with that.
Yeah.
And then later on in my life, it was booze, because then I felt way better about myself, and then obviously abused that. But now that I'm sober and I can actually do the thing that made me happy, it's like, why not do that? That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So how did you? So you moved to New York before you even touched comedy?
Yeah, I did. I started comedy 3 years ago, so about a year after I moved here. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I was the same way. I don't know. It's like it's an interesting thing. Now I just want to die when I hear open mics. No, I'm just kidding. I should stop shitting on open mics. We run a great open mic. It's awesome. We love it. Come to all the open mics. Everybody should come to do open mics. I don't know.
I tell people all the time, if you ever even thought about doing comedy and you were visiting New York, just try an open mic. Like, then at least for the rest of your life, you could say, I did comedy in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, that's technically true.
Yeah.
Technically, that's very true. So, but I wanted to know, like, because I'm obsessed with little details. So what happened? You moved to New York. Rachel tells you about it, and then do you just start going to open mics? Do you sign up for a class? Like, what happens?
Yeah. So we got into it the same way. We started through the same way, and just kind of took the same path. We run an open mic now on the Upper East Side. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think all the open mics. I mainly went to like Laughing Buddha open mics.
So you just started going into open mics.
We got into it like through like different clubs and like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So then what happened to the point where you were like, oh, this is the thing that I want to keep doing? Was it just that motivation that you had at the beginning? Or because I've had people on and they go, yeah, I didn't know if I want to do it. And then I went up and I got laughs and I was like, oh, this is addictive. Or there's some people like how I am where it's like, no, this is like important. Like I want to help. So for you, was it just always that motivation of like, I want to be able to provide joy for people?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, also like, I mean, it's really fun, dude. Like I also just to be able to like provide joy for my friends and like my family and just to be able to joke around. I listened to your podcast before like doing this.
Oh, okay.
When you had Michael on.
Yeah.
I heard you guys were talking about, he was saying it's like a superpower.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, that makes sense because it's like, people think of comedy as like magic. And if you have that power to bring like laughter into your friend groups at like social gatherings, whatever it is, like your whole life's better, you know, like, and so there's that. And it's also selfish. Like I also just obviously love everybody.
Love the attention.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Everyone's looking at me. This is amazing.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool thing when you can, and I've told this story a million times, but when you get, especially when you get around people who think it's stupid, when they're like, comedy, that's dumb. And then in your head, you can be like, I'm going to set this person up and I'm going to fucking knock it out.
Yeah.
And then you make them laugh and you're like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, no, that wasn't what. It's like, no, I know how to do this. I set you up when you left the kitchen. Remember when you said that one thing? I've been sitting on that for 2 hours. So it is definitely like a skill, obviously, that one is both born with and then can also acquire over time. And that's an interesting thing. I don't know, because you host open mics and you run shows. I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's a fascinating thing to see someone come in and you're like, okay, this person is naturally funny, but then over time be like, oh, they're getting better at this thing. It's like an athlete. Like you could be naturally athletic, but if you don't put the work in, like you're just going to be decent.
Yeah.
But if you actually push, you can take yourself to a whole other level. And so is that something that you've kind of like you said, when you got into it, you wanted to provide this laughter for people. Have you noticed over the last 3 years where like you go back and watch old sets and you're like, oh God, I'm so much better now than I was even a year ago?
Dude, honestly, I feel like I've gotten worse. I look at a set from 2 years ago and I'm like, damn, that timing was fucking good, man. I should bring that joke back now. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is, but I feel like you've been doing this a lot longer than me. So you probably are like the ups and downs with everything.
Yeah.
But it, you know, like I've stayed consistent, but like, you know, like one of my goals right now is to start doing it again. More than right now, I'm doing it like 4 days a week consistently. And I'd like to maybe do it every day, do a couple of mics every day, like, because I was doing like 2 or 3 mics every day for like the end of that first 2 years.
Yeah.
And I looked at that set recently and I was like, wow. Also just like, I don't know, just like a whole different thing. But going back to what you were saying about like getting better, like earlier a little bit, like I do feel like workshops and classes and stuff, like I feel like every comic should do that. Like,
yeah.
Not every comic agrees. I think not every comic's going to agree with me on that because they want like this purist kind of like, I just threw myself in.
Just go to open mics and figure it out. Yeah.
And it's like, but if they teach you the joke tools and like what the clubs are really looking for and like how they're going to pass you and what the audiences really want and all that. Cause I've seen these And like, not to disparage, that method, but I've seen open micers, just true open micers, and they develop this set that works at an open mic.
Yeah. And then it bombs.
Yeah, dude.
Because you can't, and we talk about this all the time, but comics laugh at heinous shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get an audience to laugh at that. Yeah. It's interesting you bring this up because I am of the other school. I am of the school of thought of just go. You don't need to pay $800 or $500 for a class. Just go to an open mic and figure it out. But the drawback to that, which is your point that you're making, and it's a very succinct point, the drawback to that is if you only do open mics or only treat it like an open mic, then you are not going to get better. It's the same thing we used to say in football, but if you practice poorly, you're not getting any better. You're just staying shitty.
Yeah.
Because you're not working on anything. So I think when I tell people just go to an open mic, I think they have the same mindset I do, which is you have to treat it like a job. Listen to podcasts, take in the information, watch specials, figure out your timing, figure out who you are on stage, what stage presence works for you, what persona works, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of times they're not doing that. I have seen people at open mics in New York and open mics back home in Florida where, to what you were just describing, they're doing the same open mic set, and you're like, dude, an open mic is to help you write and to say something out loud and be like, okay, this works, this doesn't work, I like the way that sounded, this sounded like shit. Not to have a quote-unquote tight five that you cobbled together from an open mic, and then now that's your set you do every time. Like, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah.
Because if you're not growing, then you might as well just not even come.
Yeah, because if they're getting that information, if they're doing their like due diligence to look up that information on their own, then they're going to put it all together and they don't need a class. And then like if somebody has to take a class, to get that information, then it's, either way, it's going to make them better.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it is a thing too. I've had a lot of comics on, and a lot of people say like, I didn't know how to start comedy. So I just Googled comedy and classes came up. So I took a class, and that is a great entry point, especially if you come in not knowing anything. I felt like for me personally, because I had been obsessed with stand-up for so long, when I came in, I was like, oh, no, I know. I just basically did a Dane Cook impression. Like, I was running around the stage and yelling. And, like, I go back and watch some of my earlier sets, and it's a lot more high energy. And I was like, that's kind of fun. It was a lot of fun. But people are laughing only because I'm screaming punchlines. Like, they're not good punchlines. But if you yell them really, really loud, everyone's like, ah!
Yeah.
And so over time, I've kind of toned that way down, and I've developed like more, obviously, of what my voice is. But it is important, I think, especially for people who have never done it. Like a class, I don't disparage classes if you want to actually get into comedy. I only disparage the predatory nature of them.
Yeah.
Where they're like, yeah, bring 3 friends and pay $500 and we'll put you up on this one show. And it's like, yeah, that's shitty.
Yes.
That's shitty.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Especially because you can go to 10 open mics for that amount of money.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, 100 open mics for that amount of money.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, because we have to pay in New York, and it's like, yeah, you could do I think you could learn more in 100 open mics if you were actually dedicating yourself to it than you could learn in a 4-week or an 8-week class for the same amount of money. Yeah. But again, to your point, there's some people who just don't know what they're doing.
Right.
That's comedy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
How do you enjoy, how was it for you starting comedy in New York?
I think it's great. I mean, like, it's interesting to start at the highest, best place for it, because it's like, well, where do you go from here? Yeah. Obviously, you can go to LA or Austin or Chicago or anywhere, but like, it's interesting because there's so many there's like, I mean, it's got to be, there's like 100 times, I don't know, there's
a lot,
20 times more open mics than any other city. Mm-hmm. I don't know about LA, but I would assume you have to drive.
No, there's not. I've gone out to LA to do shows, and there are open mics, but to your point, it's okay, well, we can do an open mic here, and it's from 5 to 6, and then the next open mic is at 7, but that's an hour away with traffic. So it's like, yeah, you're not going to get there in time to sign up. So you're picking one. Right. Whereas here, you can literally walk to 5.
Yeah.
Some of them you don't even have to walk. Greenwich Village, Wednesday, you could do 5 in one sitting.
Yeah. You can just bring a microphone on the stage like that dude Marcus. Like, I love his stuff, dude. It's so funny. Like, he lives here in New York, and he does that thing where he like cuts the cord on a mic and he brings a stand and he like dresses up in like
I don't know who
costumes.
this person is.
I can't remember his last name. I should know his last name. It's Marcus.
But what does
something,
he do? He brings a mic?
Yeah, he'll dress up like something crazy or just something like some character of some kind, and then he'll do these like silly like set up one-line punchline like one-liners, and he'll just like he'll say it to like a like the I don't know, like the Q train or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they'll just like like the camera will like pan in on these people as he's doing his like silly one-liners in like a crazy costume, and people will just kind of like look over at him like, what the fuck was that, you know what I mean? And then he'll just like repeat the punchline and be like, that I actually,
it's funny you bring that up, because so often I'll see people playing music or dancing on the train, and then they go around and ask for money, and my response is always, I'm not in here doing fucking jokes, man. Like, keep your shit where your shit belongs. Like, you don't see me with a microphone being like, so I'm from Florida, anybody else? Like, and so it's so funny that there's actually a guy in New York who does do that.
Hey, dude, I love his like delivery, because he'll say the punchline, and it's to a train full of cars that are they don't want to like, they're just there like going to work, doing whatever.
I'm just trying to live my life. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I feel that so often on the train. I always will clap if they do something, and I'll be like, yeah, it's cool, but I'm not giving you money. Like, I moved here for a dream too. You don't see me fucking crowd working this train right now.
Yeah.
That would be fun if we started doing that.
Hell
just
yeah.
starting a channel where we crowd work the people who are like doing their music.
Yeah.
Just start heckling them.
Yeah.
Comedians heckling subway performers.
Yeah.
Get a fucking job, asshole.
Yeah, look at this fucking clown, dude. I'm the clown, okay? Like,
You think you can dance? You think you can dance? So I wanted to ask you. That's an interesting point that you brought up about like the doing comedy and starting in a place like New York City. Did you, when you moved here, obviously you had no intention of doing stand-up. You kind of started it a year after living here. But after being here, do you think, because you grew up in Florida, same place as I did, do you think it's better that you started here in the sense of like your creativity? Because I'll tell you this way. I noticed when I first moved to New York, everyone writes a lot more because there's a lot more mics and there's a lot more going on. And just instinctively, as comedians who want validation, I'm not going to do the same set 3 times in a row at an open mic.
Yeah.
Because I get weird. Like, I might, like, I'm working on the special, so I was going to open mics to work on transitions, but I would do different parts of the special even, because I was like, I don't want to do the same thing. But again, going back to the point we were making earlier, when I was in Jacksonville doing stand-up, there's a lot of people, there's only one mic a night. So they would just do their set. And then the next week they would do the same set. And you didn't feel like you had to write because there were different people coming in and out of the mic. So do you think starting here has helped you as far as your creativity, your writing, things like that?
Oh, definitely. I think being around the energy, the other comedians, seeing other people write as many jokes as they do. I will do my same set just to make sure I have it dialed in like right before a show or something. But I feel bad about it. Dude, I'll get up there and I'll be like, I'll have to preface it, at the very beginning.
I would do too, yeah.
Like, I know you guys have heard all this before. I apologize in advance, but like, there we go. Like,
the last 4 weeks I've been getting up being like, listen, this is all out of context. I'm working on transitions for my special, so you're not going to get any of this. It's not going to make any sense, but I want to make sure saying it out loud, it works.
yeah, exactly.
It is also, and I tell this to a lot of people too, because in Florida, where I started, there would be random people that would show up to the mics because there's not a lot to do in Jacksonville. So like, oh, they have comedy at Rain Dogs on Mondays. Let's go. So we'd have like regular audience members. And then you come to New York where it's all comics and we all go, just creatures of habit. We all go to a lot of the same mics. So once we get kind of embedded in our mics, that's where we go. And so there are times where, to your point, I'm like, man, I got a big 5 minutes coming up. Like I have an audition for something. So I'll run my tight 5 to crickets because everyone's heard it like 5 times. Yep. And then I'm like, oh, I think I'm terrible at this. I think I'm going to die now. I think this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like we were saying earlier, like if sometimes you'll like something crazy will happen on the train and you'll mention that like in the beginning of your set and it gets tons of laughter. And you're like, oh, that's a bit. And then you do it at a show and people are like, that's sad. Like, why are you talking about that?
Yeah, they're like, aw.
Yeah.
Don't aw. Anything but that. Like any reaction.
I would rather you scream than aw.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, so let's talk about you, Jamie. You grew up in Florida. You're a surfer.
Yes, sir.
When did you get into surfing?
So, okay, the first time I surfed was when I was 10. I have an older half brother. He's 14 years older than me, and he was babysitting me. And he came over from Orlando, and he was like a big boogie boarder. So he actually like went boogie boarding in Hawaii and stuff. So it's legit. But like,
I love that's so Florida to be like. Actually, he didn't buy a boogie board at Walmart and just show up. He actually has like a real one.
I don't know if I can call it boogie boarding and legit in the same sentence. Maybe I should call it bodyboarding, but it is what it is.
Yeah, bodyboarding.
Yeah. But he did it at like a pretty high level. But so he's over there. He's over there to babysit me for a week. But he comes over with 4 of his friends, and they want to like do their thing. But he brings this old surfboard for me. So he like throws this like old dinged up yellow surfboard that barely floats in the water, but I weigh like 70 pounds. I'm like 10.
Do you remember how big the board was?
If I had to guess, I'd say like 5.
Okay.
9
That's big
or
for a
something.
10-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, big board for me. So then I'm like in the whitewash, catching the waves, like standing up, whatever. I was like, a longboard for me as a 10-year-old. And then right after that, so this is where I moved 8 times before I was 18. So born in Florida, raised there, and then moved right after that happened. We moved to Iowa.
That's random.
Yeah, and when I moved up there, have you seen the movie Johnny Tsunami?
Why does that sound so familiar?
It's a Disney
movie. Yeah.
Okay, so it's different, but it felt like that for me. So Johnny Tsunami is about this kid who moves from Hawaii to Colorado.
Yeah.
And they're like,
and then doesn't he get into snowboarding?
Yeah. And so he's like this surfer, and he moves out to the Midwest. I mean, Colorado's cool Midwest, but at the end of the day, it's
there's
the
no
same.
ocean.
Right. So I moved to fucking Iowa. And I'm like, where the fuck? What is this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like
just corn, lots of corn.
Yeah, and I have this surfboard. I have this like old yellow surfboard, right? So I move out there. I bring it with me. In my head, I'm like, I'm gonna cut the fins off and I'm gonna like snowboard on this thing or something. I never ended up doing that. But like, I remember the hottest girl in the school who like, everybody's got their like, air quotes like girlfriend, boyfriend.
Yeah.
Thing. But like, so she is like, oh, you live by the beach. Did you surf? That's so cool. And I was like, no, like not really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that, like, whatever.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah. And so she was just like, oh, like, I'm done with you. I was like, no, dude. Like, so like, and I had like a little crush on her or whatever. So we moved back to Florida in 6 months. And I was like, I'm going to fucking surf. Surfing's cool. All of a sudden I look around, and I was living in Bethune Beach. So I'm like, all those kids down there, we had Aaron Cormican, Gorkin, sponsored by Lost. We had Eric and Evan Geiselman, like all the Daytona, New Smyrna, like, I almost want to say air quotes for that too, professionals.
No, they're pro surfers.
They were legit though. Yeah.
If you're sponsored and you don't have to pay for your gear, you're a pro surfer. Have you ever seen Brink? They're sponsored, baby. They're pros.
Yeah, like Shay and Corey Lopez were on like the tour. Eric and Evan on the world tour. Like those guys are as legit as it gets. They hang out with Slater and everybody else like as high level as you can be. Also, Florida surfers super underrated considering we have Carissa. No, I'm sorry, not Carissa Moore. We have who's the girl? The girl that just won.
This is out of my wheelhouse.
This
is all you.
I'm blanking on it, but she just won the first Olympic surfing, and she's from Cocoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then we got Slater, obviously, like 11-time world champion. And Cocoa Beach, like same thing as Daytona, same thing as New Smyrna, just those like little waves. But like those little waves are so much harder to surf than when you have these perfect waves. So it like, it's like swinging 2 bats. You know what I mean? And so I look around right when we moved back, and I'm like, wait, everyone's a surfer. Like I'm living in this little surfing community in Bethune. I'm like, so then I just picked it up after that. Like my dad didn't want me to do it, but my mom was like kind of like that cool mom who's like buying me surfboards like when he was like whatever, like not paying attention and stuff. And I like.
What was the first board that your mom got you? Do you remember?
She got me. Yeah, she got me a Wooster, and Mark Wooster was, I want to say he was from Daytona, and he got busted for growing pot when it was still super illegal.
Oh, really?
And there's like this big thing. So he went to either jail or prison.
Probably prison, yeah,
for like
at that
a
time,
long
yeah.
Yeah, dude. But he was a legend, dude. So he was like, his weed was called Triangle. You remember? They called it Crip, right?
Yeah.
Which like no one's ever heard of Crip
Yeah.
anywhere else. What is Crip? Like what? But Crip and Regs. But like he combined 3 different strains, Triangle, grew it right there. So it was like all of a sudden, like if I got this brand, you could tell it was, or this strain, rather, you could tell it was homegrown because it was still like you know, it wasn't cured all the way. It smelled fresh. Everybody called it like the fresh or whatever. And so like, but yeah, he's the guy who started that. And then people cloned his plants and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, Mark Wooster, one of his boards was the first one my mom bought me.
Yeah, to your point, surfing was cool. Like all the kids did it. So Seabreeze is a high school that my sisters went to, and it's on the ocean.
Yeah.
It's literally across the street from the ocean. So I remember both my sisters were pretty popular, and their friends, they would all meet at the beach before school. So they'd all get there at like 6 a.m, smoke weed, not my sisters, but like the surfer kids would all smoke weed, go surfing, and then walk into class. Yeah. Do the whole thing. Like we've all seen in the movies. You put the towel around you, you change like right outside the car door, and then you walk into class. And I just remember thinking, oh, that's so cool. And obviously I went to a different high school, but I was still like, oh, cool kids surf. But I was a chubby little kid. And so my first board was a 7.5-foot fun shape.
Hell yeah.
Because I had to get a big board because I was a fat kid. And the first time I took it out, and I was terrified of the ocean because it's scary. People die in the ocean all the time. First time I took it out, a shark swam right under me. Like a big shark swam right under me. And I paddled in faster than I'd ever done anything in my life. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. It was the first time I went out on that board. And I was like, fuck that. Because they're like, you got to go out further. You got to go out further. And then a shark went under me. And I was like, fuck this. Yeah. I'm out of here. Yeah. So for you, though, because you really took to it, it became like a thing. You love surfing.
Yep.
What do you do? Do you ever go, when you go back home, obviously, I'm sure you just surf all the time?
Yep.
Because you can't do it in New York. Can you?
When I first moved here, I went to Rockaway, Long Beach. I surfed the first winter I was here. I surfed in a snowstorm in like 35-degree weather.
What were you doing? Wearing a wetsuit?
Yeah, I got like 3 times as thick as the one I wore in Florida. And then my gloves and booties like weren't thick enough for that. I had to come in and buy another set of booties. It was so cold, like everything went numb right away.
Oh shit.
But
you still try to surf in that freezing water?
Yeah, I don't really do it anymore though up here.
That's psychotic.
Yeah, I competed out in the Hamptons, in Rockaway.
Oh, so you're like a legit surfer.
I mean, I do it. Yeah, I was though. Yeah, but I do it more for fun now. I like to go to Puerto Rico.
No, I get it. Don't fucking be modest on this show. I get it. I was on scout team when I played college football, but if you ask me, I was a Division I football player. There's no need for modesty here. You can rip waves.
Yeah, I think that like people from Florida surf from what I've seen, because I lived in San Diego for a year and surfed out there like all the time. That was like peak surfing for me. I feel like Florida surfers are way better.
Yeah.
Like way better. Dude, those San Diego surfers, it's like a
bunch
million
of pussies.
Kook, dude, exactly. They're a bunch of kook pussies, dude. They're like I don't know. It is what it is. And Florida surfers are like they're like the core, dude. They're like the raw surfers who are just like out there. No one knows who they are. Like they're
because they live by the beach and they love it.
Yeah, they're catching hurricane waves with like telephone poles floating out in the ocean.
Yeah,
you know
no, that's 100%. It's interesting because I noticed this with skateboarding, because there's always people in Washington Square Park skateboarding, and we're around that park all the time because McDougal Street's where most of the clubs are, and they all suck.
Yeah,
they're all fucking terrible. And then I remember my very good friend Matt Fulshon, who I feature for. We were doing shows in Philly, and he took me to feature for him. And Matt used to skateboard, years ago, and he did it for a very long time. And I remember talking to him about it because we were walking through a park in Philly, and these skateboarders were ripping. And he was like, yeah, they're not doing it for someone to notice. They're just out here because they love skateboarding. Yeah. Which is very similar to what you're describing with surf. Like in San Diego, people surf because it's like, oh, I want to be a part of that thing. Yeah. In Florida, it's like we live at the beach. This is just what we do.
Yeah. It's also a little bit counterculture in Florida, right? Because like the older people there, the retirement community, everyone, even people in Florida are like, well, there's no surfing here. And it's like,
they fucking hate it.
Dude, they hate it so much. We're like the punks.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the same thing with skateboarding in like major urban cities. Is like, you can't, there's no skateboarding in this park. And they're like, fuck off, watch this.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I can't believe, were you ever close to being sponsored or anything like that?
I got little sponsorships and then.
What? You buried the lead. You were a sponsored surfer?
I got sponsored by Rockstar Energy.
Get out of here. Are you fucking kidding me? No. How do you not talk about this on stage all the time? You're a pro surfer. Are you fucking kidding me?
I would not go as far as to say I was a pro.
Did you get paid to surf?
Did I get paid to surf? No, I got like shit in the mail, and they'd give me free stuff.
Same. You got stuff you didn't have to pay for.
Yeah.
Ipso facto, pro surfer. All right, pro surfer. That's good. I'm not gonna even put comic. I'm gonna put pro surfer. Jamie Freeland.
There's so many surfers who rip like a million
so
times.
many people would see that and be like, the fuck?
My friends rip in Florida. The guys that I hung out with rip so much harder than me.
So I want to talk about it because the surfing culture, like you said, it's kind of a punk culture. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. When was the first, so in high school, you were bouncing around a lot. Because of all the moving and stuff, did you ever get like a core group of friends, or did that happen later on once you were like at Creek and that's where you were?
Yeah, I mean, like, I did have a core group, but I moved so many times that, like, that changed so much. And it taught me to, like, meet new people and be charismatic, but then it didn't give me the skills to, like, reconcile things very well, interestingly, because then I was always about to move again. So it's like I never had to, like, fix anything. And then, like, after that
I'm out.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. And then I gained that skill later in life. But yeah, it's like the trade-off between moving around and then, like, the skills you gain from that, the skills of burning bridges.
Yeah. Just made the bridges I burn light the path. So when was the first time that you drank?
I want to say I drank when I was 15 or 16 for the first time.
So was this back in Florida?
This was in Iowa, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was when we had moved back up there to start high school. And when I was there, I drank. Dude, Iowa was like night and day from Florida. Iowa, just corn, soybeans, and like...
Oh, I forgot about the soy, yeah.
People that go to church, like that. And then...
Amen, brother.
Yeah, dude. And then Florida... Yeah, obviously, like...
Four Loko,
and
meth, and...
The fun stuff.
People who wrestle gators.
Yeah. And win, dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Sometimes.
So, yeah, sometimes they lose. God. I remember when I was a kid, because we see gators all the time, it didn't really faze us. And I remember as a kid trying to, like, feed the gators.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah, I want to play with it.
Yeah.
It's a dinosaur. It's cool as shit.
Yeah.
And then when I would get older, I remember, to your point about Iowa, I moved to Oklahoma City for a couple months in the throes of my addiction to live with my cousin. And I remember people there being like, you're from Florida? That's so cool. And you're like, you can move. You don't have to stay here.
Most people do, in fact.
Yeah.
Florida's like mostly people that moved there, I feel
There's so many people that are very good friends of mine, especially when I got into comedy and you're going to bars and stuff, and you'd meet bartenders. So there's two types of people in Florida, for the most part. There's the people who grew up in Florida and then they just never leave because it is a very magnetic state. Like, you don't want to leave. I mean, I say it every day. Once I make it, quote unquote, I was like, we're getting a house in Florida. Like, I fucking loved living there. As far as the weather, I mean, take the politics out of it. I just like the heat. I like the sunshine. I like the beach. I like being close to, like, the amusement parks and all that kind of shit because I'm a fucking nerd at heart. But it is an interesting thing because, like, just that idea of, like, you're either there because you grew up there or you're there because you went there on spring break and ran out of money and now you can't go anywhere.
Dude, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I met so many people in comedy where it's like, oh, when'd you move to Florida? And it's like, spring break 97 or spring break 2005.
Where I met my wife who then divorced me. Surprise.
I ran out of money, stayed with this bartender chick that I really thought was hot. We ended up getting married, and then we got divorced 2 years later after we had 2 kids. And you're like, what the fuck?
She was topless at the pool during spring break wearing a neon, like, green bikini. Like,
I was like, that's my wife.
And then she left me? Yeah. Yeah.
Dude. And so that is an interesting thing because you have a very different version of that with the moving. Like, you were in Iowa, you came back, you're back in Iowa, you come back, and then you moved to New York. So it was a very different experience for you, but that is such a Florida thing to be like, this is where we're from, this is where we live. Yeah. But take us through Iowa, the first time drinking, because I'm assuming, and tell me if I'm wrong, because you lived there, and a lot of these Midwest states, they say, like, well, there's nothing to do but drink. Like, I know that's a big thing in Wisconsin. Like, Milwaukee people fucking get after it because they're like, yeah, what are we going to do? Yep. It snows 8 months out of the year. Like, what do you want us to do? So was it the same in Iowa? Was there a lot of, like, beer drinking, like, corn-fed party people?
Yeah, dude. Okay, I don't know if everybody calls it this, but they called Milwaukee's Best. I think everybody does call it this. They called it Beast.
Okay.
And that was like their drink. Also, Busch Lights, dude.
Yeah.
A Busch Latte out there in the Midwest. That's some good old fat. That's some good time. You know what I mean? That's just like throw a dip in the lip and you're good to go. Like, I think that was a Southern accent. I'm confusing them.
You're fine.
I'm obviously confused. Okay.
I get where you're going. I moved a lot as a kid, you know.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, I mean, like, so you get your license there when you're 15 because it's like these rural kids need to drive in from the farm, and their parents are like, I don't know, drinking Busch Light, so they can't drive them in, or they could actually. It's Iowa, nobody cares. So like, but yeah, the very first time was like with some friends. We like raided the parents' liquor cabinet. You know what I mean? And it was we all just. I remember we were just like hanging out watching a movie in their basement, and it was probably like 8 of us or something, and we all just got blackout drunk.
Yeah.
Like off their liquor, just drinking straight up like vodka, you know, like
15 years old, and like, watch this. Dude, that's nuts. I mean, I did the same thing. I was a little later in life, and the listeners heard this a million times, but I was doing shots of 99 bananas.
Yeah.
Like as an 18 or 17-year-old. Like being like, let's let it rip, guys. It's like, that's insane. If I relapsed tomorrow, you couldn't get me to do a shot of 99 bananas.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to do a shot of 99 anything. Maybe cherry, because cherry was really good. But it is one of those weird things where when you're a kid, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So you're just like, yeah. I've seen the movies.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better.
I remember, okay, one of the times after that, we drank green apple pucker. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same idea where it's like, ooh, green apple. We were like, at that time, like 15 or whatever. So it's like, you know, green apple pucker, that's like a Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
Like, that's the good stuff. That's I come to find out later, that's a mixer. That's not
It's a liqueur. Yeah, it's not even like a booze. Did you ever get into the, because we're around the same age, did you ever get into the, God, I can't remember the brand, but there was a vodka brand that made all those crazy flavors, like Loopy and all that kind of stuff. Did you ever get into those?
I remember getting into the flavors, but I don't know. Yeah, like
Svedka did a lot of flavors, but God, I can't remember. Three Olives is who did it. So Three Olives made, like, their whole marketing plan was like, let's get kids fucked up. Damn the consequences, because they made like Three Olives grape and cherry, and then they made like Loopy, which tasted like Fruit Loops, and they made all these different kind of flavors. And that was like, when I was in college, that became like a huge thing. High school into college was like, you got to get the flavored stuff. Yep. And dude, you want to talk about off to the fucking races. You mix that with soda or punch, and you're like, this doesn't taste like anything but goodness.
Yeah, dude. Those are like those tropical drinks too, where you mix flavored vodka into like
jungle juice, baby,
coconut water, or like pineapple juice or whatever. Like those things go good on.
We used to, because obviously living in Florida, we used to do orange juice. I didn't even know what concentrate was until I moved out of Florida.
Yep.
Because we have so much fresh orange juice in the grocery stores, but we used to do orange juice, a splash of high C fruit punch, and then just whatever flavor of vodka we wanted to do. And it was like all vodka and then just like dash. And dude, you'd get, and the fucking heartburn from all the acid, from all the shit. Dude, it was the worst. So then when you moved back to Florida after starting drinking in Iowa, when you moved back to Florida, were you like, oh, I know what I'm doing?
Basically immediately turned into a pothead.
Okay. That was where I was going to go. Okay. So then you started smoking.
Yep. Just got into like surfing every single morning, every night.
Were you doing the thing?
Yeah.
Were you surfing before you went into school?
Yes. Yeah.
You were doing the thing.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't lying. Pro surfer. Freeland.
Yeah. But
you know I'm going to address you as pro surfer for the rest of our adventure. That's a thing now.
I'm just gonna have to accept that, I guess, begrudgingly.
If we're ever on a show together and I have to bring you up, I'm gonna be like, this guy's a fucking former pro surfer. Give it up. So then you get into pot. How did you find that? Was that just through the surfing community?
Right before I moved back, I went to this 311 concert.
Okay, then that answers that.
Yeah. Smoked pot for the first time, moved back. I was like, oh, pot's cool. This is going to be like, you know, and then right when I moved back, I met some people who could get it easily, right? And all the surfers smoked pot and everything, and everybody smoked pot. I was actually really good friends with this guy who was like a varsity basketball player. One of my best friends was on our football team, my friend to this day, who I just hung out with like a couple weekends ago. He lives in Pennsylvania now. He owns a house in Port Orange.
Okay.
But yeah, I always thought the football.
I so
player
badly
was
want to ask you for the name, but don't, because I don't have to bleep it out later. But
yeah, he wouldn't care. Yeah, Johnny Beltrami, dude.
Okay.
We called him Fire Truck, dude. Yeah.
Why'd you go on fire truck?
Okay, so the story, he was on the team, right? And
This is football?
Yeah.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, the jerseys, like the practice jerseys or something, were red. No, it was the baseball team. I think they called him this. No, so I want to say it was the football team. So
We didn't have red.
they didn't have like
When
practice
I was
jerseys
there
or something?
from 2004 or 2002 until 2006,
Orange.
the practice jerseys were orange for offense, and then they were white for defense.
Okay, so I wasn't on like I didn't do sports at Creek at all.
You don't say. The surfer pothead didn't do sports? That's a crazy statement. Yeah, no, we got it.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, just sports, just not organized with the school.
Yeah.
Surfing's a fucking tough sport.
and so we this story is all secondhand, and I like to retell it so that it makes him sound cool because he's one of my my good friends, obviously. So my version of this story, which I think might not be the total truth. So maybe there's two versions of this story, but I'm gonna tell the good one.
Tell the good one.
So like the orange, whatever it was, the dude is stacked, and I think he was on our offensive line or something, and so like. I guess the story is like when he would run at people, he's like a fire truck. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The reason he doesn't like it is because they would tease him a little bit with it. You know, they'd be like, wee, wee, like fire truck. But it's like
That's a
oh,
badass nickname. My nickname in high school was Fatty Tatty, so.
I think it's a badass nickname
Yeah,
too.
fire truck is way cooler.
But like, whatever. Everybody's got like these nicknames and shit. Like fucking, I don't know, especially in high school. But yeah, I don't know. Like, still a friend of mine to this day. But where were we going with this?
We were talking about you got into weed, and then you said it was everywhere, everyone smoked, and then we kind of got sidetracked talking about fire truck.
This is weed causes memory loss.
Yeah, 100%.
I think this is what's happening.
So wait, so I wanted to ask you, were you, now that you're hanging out in those circles and stuff, because this is a thing, with any punk community, whether it's skateboarders, punk rockers, surfers in Florida, whatever it is, it does open the door kind of, and you sent me some stories which we're going to get into, but it does kind of open up the door for, it's interesting, I want to say miscreant behavior, but you have to have so much discipline and dedication to be getting up at like 5 a.m. to go surfing. But then also, you do kind of like, are like, you fuck around. You fuck off with other stuff. So what is that like mindset when it comes to surfing? Were you like every day, like, this is what I do, I go surfing?
Yeah, it was, okay, so...
Because it's so weird to have that kind of discipline, but then be like, yeah, then we're going to go smoke weed and go to Cece's.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, dude, Cece's Pizza.
Fuck yeah. Clyde Morris Boulevard. Man, come on. Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
You take the fake bacon and you mix it in with the ranch dressing, and then you dip all your slices into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good shit. Yeah, okay, so like, there's like that little bit of like health. Like, okay, it's like this, it's like a fine line, right? Like, sometimes potheads are like really healthy people, because all they do is like smoke pot, so they're too anxious to go outside and like party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the people who party real hard can smoke pot to like bring them back from that partying and make them like force them to like take care of themselves a little bit. And I think like, so there's that side of it where you smoke pot, you fall asleep, you wake up really early, you're like kind of paranoid about being unhealthy. And there's that side of it. And then there's like the surfer side of it, like those dudes that I was mentioning that are pros, like Gorkin is known for Lost, like bringing him out to California and bringing him to Hawaii and all these places when he was super young, and him just raging, like Andy Irons, like dying of an overdose, like that party, like cocaine, like heroin, even like surfer culture of just like we're just drinking and doing every drug and whatever. So there's like, it's like the dichotomy in the surfing community of like chill, mellow pothead who like is health conscious and organic and blah blah blah, and then like the other side of it that's like, like surfer, like macho aggressive dude on the beach, so like Hawaiians beating people up doing drugs.
Those were the guys I didn't like.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I ran into some of those surfers living in Florida my whole life, where it was like, I would just be at the beach with like my family or my friends, and I'd be out in the water, like just swimming, and the like aggro surfer dudes would be like, "Get the fuck out of our lane!" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd be that guy, like, "You're not supposed to be surfing here."
Well, fuck, dude. Like, I remember when I was, right when I moved back, I would surf a lot without a leash because I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, I don't need a leash.
That's fucking scary as shit.
Yeah, and on big days too. And I remember I lost my board one day, fucking kook move, it is what it is. And the board washed in, and like one of the like, you know, out of high school a couple of years that was still around, kind of like a, you know, like a burnout who was also like my role model, would like, it like the board washed into him, and it didn't like crash into him, but it just washed into him lightly. And I remember he knew who I was. Like we were all in the same friend group, and he like picks up my board, throws it. He's like, go down the beach, kook, blah, blah. And I was just like, I remember thinking like, I'm getting bullied right now. Like this sucks. Like,
well, and I always, because you imagine with the surfing culture that it is that first one you're describing. It is that like chill, like we're just out here to be one with the ocean, and but there are a lot of fucking, because you have to be an athlete to do it. It takes a lot of core strength, takes a lot of upper body strength. You got to pop up. Like it is a sport at the end of the day. So you will get aggro dudes in there too who are like fucking.
yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask you, because you sent me a bunch of stories that I want to talk to you about said surfing friend groups. What happened with the mushrooms?
Okay, so like the mushroom fields in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the rainy season, and like between, you know, June, July, and August, those things are just like popping up everywhere out in the fields out there. And so I had friends that would go out into these fields, pick these magic mushrooms in the morning, wherever, you know, a lot of them were like trespassing, coming back with like bags of mushrooms. They were still like living with their parents or whatever. You know what I mean? So
they're bags of mushrooms.
Yeah, like so many. Because it's like, I think the mushrooms that are like medicinal and legal and you can buy now, it's like, you know, a gram of mushrooms. They were getting like 200 grams of mushrooms.
Yeah.
And like fresh ones, like big, like whole mushrooms, you know what I mean? And
for those of you who are uninitiated, Florida is one of the cattle capitals of the entire country. So we have a lot of fields with a lot of cow shit, and so a lot of magic mushrooms grow out there.
Yep.
Just to bring people up to date.
Directly out of the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but there's a pardon the pun, there's a shit ton of cows in Florida. Yeah. So that's why mushrooms are so relevant.
If you know the story of the lotus flower, it's kind of
you fucking asshole. That's hilarious. So they used to just go and pick bags of mushrooms every morning?
Yep. And then just like they would hang out on the beach. They'd do these mushrooms all day. You'd see them. They'd just be like sitting there fucking, you know, like giggling and like, you know, I mean, like these were guys I was hanging out with. So like, you know, we're all there or whatever, doing them together or like hanging out together. And like I'm with them or whatever. And they're all tripping balls. You know what I mean? And so they would pick all these mushrooms, go to the beach. And just like, you know how you can drive on the beach?
Yeah.
And we knew everyone, right? So like we're sitting there at New Smyrna Beach Inlet. These cars are driving by. It's like trucks. Everybody's waving at us. And like they're just tripping.
They're just freaking
balls,
the fuck
dude.
out.
They're just laughing. They're just like, they can't stop laughing, like feeling like running their hands down their face or whatever. And then we'll all go surfing together. So they're out there tripping in the water, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, is this person gonna like survive? Like,
yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to be like on a hallucinogenic mushroom while you're
especially in the Atlantic Ocean.
In the shark bite.
It's one thing if you shark capital of the world in the Atlantic Ocean. God, could you imagine just being like, oh, hey, pretty shark.
I am one with nature.
Yeah.
Nature's not one with them.
Yeah, 100%, dude. You're going to lose a fucking arm doing that. Yeah. This was interesting because you did send me something about bath salts, which I find fascinating because now discovering that we're around the same age, we were both living in Florida at the time when the guy in Miami took bath salts and ate that guy's face.
Yeah, dude.
That was a huge story. It was a national story. I remember I was living in South Florida at the time because I was going to FAU. And that was nuts. And then you had sent me a story about bath salts. And I was like, there's no fucking way that this is true.
Yeah. Okay. So going back to, I can't say who he is.
Don't say who he is.
I knew, not for this one. Oh my God. But you would know who this guy is. That's the funniest
God
part.
damn it.
I'll tell you after the podcast.
Got it.
Okay. So he gets bath salts from a gas station, clearly had a drug problem.
Yeah.
And he's thinking to himself.
Do you know how this works? Because everyone talked about bath salts, but I thought those were the ones you bought at like Bed Bath & Beyond. You can get them at a gas station?
Yep. Well, there were like certain gas stations.
Okay.
I didn't know. Oh, okay. That's right. I remember that now.
Yeah. Because I just didn't know, like when people were like, yeah, this guy snorted bath salts and ate a guy's face, I was like, where do you even get that?
So
Go ahead. So the friend goes to the gas station, gets bath salts.
So he's thinking that, and he like told me this, that he had a coke problem, and he's like, this is just this was before the face eating incident, right? So it wasn't like super obvious yet. Although like probably should have known. Like there's something.
It's an industrial grade chemical.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so he gets these bath salts thinking that it's just like, legal cocaine that's like safe and been tested by scientists and approved.
I swear to God, there's good educations in Florida. I promise you. I went to the 87th best school in the country.
Yeah.
So did you.
Yeah.
Go Creek.
Yeah, dude.
And this guy's doing bath salts because he thinks it's a free legal version of cocaine.
Yeah. And so, like, basically, he does these bath salts and he like freaks out, gets paranoid. You know what I mean? Thinks that like his friend is going to kill him. So he's thinking that his friend is like out to get him. And he's like so hyper paranoid that he just runs off. And so he runs through the woods and like falls in some lake. Like the alligators, clearly in every fresh
any
body
standing water houses alligators in Florida.
So
that's what they tell you when you're a kid. If you see standing water, a lake, a puddle, a river, it doesn't fucking matter. There's gators in there.
Yeah, so,
which is true.
So this guy gets on bath salts, thinks his best friend's gonna kill him, like goes swims with alligators, then is like trying to find his way back, jumps over like some fence and finds himself in some cow field. Now he's got like a bull protecting all of the heifers,
heifers. That's right.
And so this like bull starts like stomping and like stampedes the dude, jumps over the nearest fence to get away from the bull. It's an electric fence. Now, keep in mind, he just fell into water. He's soaking wet, climbing over an electric fence.
Dude, those things sting too. Did you guys used to grab them when you were kids?
Oh yeah, I'd be like,
yeah.
I gotta feel alive, dude.
Yeah, who can hang on the longest?
Yeah.
And there's like 40,000 volts running through those. Those fucking sting. Yeah. So what happened? Did he die? What happened?
So he makes it back and like he survives the whole thing, but we're all just like, bro, like never again. You cannot do bath salts. Like that doesn't work, dude.
I wanted to ask you because I completely forgot about this until we were talking about bath salts, which is funny. But do you actually have a PhD or do you just joke about that on stage?
No, yeah, I do. I have a PhD.
Get the fuck out of here! Yep. A professional surfer, stand-up comedian with a PhD. Look at you. Where did you go to college?
Florida State.
You're a Seminole.
Yep.
Did you enjoy your time at Florida State? It was ranked one of the best party schools in the country. Was it amazing?
That's why I went.
Is it really?
Yeah. Truthfully, yes.
God, what'd you get your PhD in?
Economics. Yeah.
He's smarter than he lets on, folks.
Well, from Florida, as we've
people talk shit all the time. The University of Florida is a top 10 in like 3 different categories as far as public universities in the country.
Yeah.
The FAU has the #1 oceanic engineering department in the world. So you can kiss my ass with that shit.
And the best pina coladas.
Ew. Florida State, known for partying, so you are right there.
The best kegs.
When did you? So I wanted to ask you because I completely forgot about that until we just mentioned it, and we only have a little bit of time left. But what did you? You honestly were like, I want to go to Florida. Like, what did you get? Like awesome grades in high school?
Not really. Yeah, no. I did until I moved back to Florida, and
so the second time you came back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so did you just apply and get into Florida State? Because it's not the easiest school to get into, but it's not the hardest either.
Well, funny you were talking about how good UF is because I applied there, didn't get in.
Yeah, nobody did.
And then
I know kids in IB with like 4.8s that didn't get into UF.
Yeah. Tough school. I wish, I mean, like, but Florida State was fun at the end of the day. I was happy that I was there. You know, it's funny because like a lot of people, I think if you can get a good job out of undergrad, you take that path. And I was just too much of a delinquent, so I had to get a PhD. One of my professors was like, you're smart enough to get into the program, just do that. And I was like, well, that is my best option, I think.
What was your undergrad? Economics as well?
Yep.
What was your focus?
Math.
Okay.
Yeah, pure math. So I did every class in the undergraduate math degree, which was a pure math degree, but my degree ended up being economics.
This is so bizarre. Jamie, all the stuff we've talked about, and then I forgot you had a PhD, and now you're talking like you got marbles in your mouth, talking about core math and pure math and socioeconomic, and I don't even know what the fuck you're saying.
But my GPA was trash, dude. Like,
was it?
I failed like 5 classes.
Did you fail classes in your core study, or did you fail? Okay. Because my GPA was also trash at the end of the day, but I loved political science and history. That my core GPA was actually relatively high. It was when they were like, oh, you have to take art appreciation. I was like, fuck that. I'm not going there ever. And that tanks my GPA because I got D's are passing in Florida, but I got like straight D's my senior year because it was all prereq classes. So my GPA went from like a 3.2 to like a 1.5 just overnight. Well, over a semester, but you know what I mean?
Same. Yeah.
So you still have, you're a doctor.
Yep. Yeah. Technically, not a real one, but.
So everyone who's on YouTube right now, take a good look. This is 4K resolution. Dr. Freeland over here. Tattoos and all, baby. God, you're like one of the cool doctors.
No, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it does. You are. You're a professional surfer, turned doctor, turned stand-up comedian. You've lived a life, Jamie. You should do a one-man show. You should talk about all of this on stage. You talk about the PhD thing. I know that. All right. I have so many questions about Florida State. Did you go to a lot of games and stuff? Were you like in the community?
Yeah, I blacked out at so many games.
God, we're gonna have to have you back on. If you want to come back on, we gotta have you back
to.
on because I want to just talk about Florida State now, but I can't. You sent me another story that I really want to get to about 6 hits of acid. Tell me, take me through this. This was I saved this one for last because it seemed like an epic story.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm at this after party, Florida State. It's
Look at that. I tied it all together without even trying. God, I'm so good at this.
Hell yeah, you are. Yeah, this is fun, dude. Yeah, I would love to come back on.
Fuck yeah. So this happens at Florida State.
Yep.
That was convenient timing.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're at this, college like after party house where they're just throwing all the after parties there with like some guy who was like in the nightlife business, so he would like
a lot of promoters in those kind of
exactly,
scenes.
yeah, promoter guy, and
nightlife business.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what a PhD calls it. What we call it where I'm from is fucking scumbag promoter.
Exactly, he was shady as fuck. So anyway, but yeah, like okay, so my friend there, I walk into the room, we are trashed, and. We don't even know anybody there. We're just at this after party, and this promoter had brought us there, and we're just like hanging out. So he opened, I walk into this room. It's 1 a.m, not super late, but Tallahassee, it's not like a 4 a.m. New York City place. So that's pretty late there. He opens up his hand. He's got 6 hits of acid. He's like, what should I do with these? I'm drunk. I'm like, fucking, I don't know, take them. So he pops them all. He pops them all in his mouth at once.
That's so dangerous.
Which 6 hits of acid, fucking,
That's too much acid for those of you listening. That's way too much acid.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, holy shit.
It doesn't take a doctor to know that. Oh, see what I did there? High five right there. Yeah. Nailed it. Oh, this is...
Hell yeah.
What happened? Did he die?
So...
I would assume he died.
So, basically, the party goes on. We're drunk, so I don't even think anything of it. We're still just having, a good time.
Oh, my God, I forgot you guys are all drunk.
So
nobody remembers that he did this.
Exactly. He even forgets that he's done it. You know what I mean? Then, 30 minutes later, right when these acid is all hitting him, the fucking party gets busted by the cops. And,
oh, my God.
That's just... Dude, Florida cops are like RoboCops.
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking serious cops down there. They're all, they're all on testosterone. They're all
they have to deal with crazy people who come down for spring break and party guys and they have to deal. This is not a Blue Lives Matter. I've been arrested 8 times, ACAB all day, every day. But I'm just saying, with what they have to deal with, they are fucking juiced up all the time.
Yeah.
Ready to fucking go.
Yeah, because they got to chase some dude for 2 miles through the swamp.
Yeah,
He's
on meth.
bath salts.
Yeah, bath salt. Yeah, exactly. Jumping over electric fences.
Yeah.
Fuck, we got to catch this guy?
Yeah. Those cops are like, damn, he just ran through a herd of cattle over an electric fence. Hello, fuck. Yeah. They got to be like Olympic athletes to catch these fucking bath salt maniacs. But yeah, so yeah, so party gets busted by fucking Florida cops. Serious fucking thing. You know what I mean? And you know how they'll surround a party, dude. So this is happening.
You won't know they're there until they're all there, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, they hit a fucking college party like a SWAT team. Yeah. What? You know what I mean?
4 different points of entry, baby. Yeah. No back doors.
So the house is just lit up by flashing lights, right? Cops all around, megaphones and stuff, which is crazy. Like the fact that they would have to do that for like a bunch of kids who are mostly legal drinking, honestly.
They got bored.
Yeah, exactly.
There was
Like,
no meth addicts tonight. Let's go fuck this college party up.
yeah, fuck this noise complaint.
Yeah.
bring the fucking
If
bats,
you want to hear a
dude.
noise complaint, bring the noise.
Yeah. So my friend, so like we're all, scrambling, and everybody's running in different directions. My friend just walks out of the house. Acid hits him. He'd be running, but acid's hitting him right when these cops are busting it. So he walks out. He's the only one. Cops are walking up, and he's trying to see if they're real. That's
Oh, my God.
That's where he's at. He's like, no fucking way. Because, like, for him, everything's doing acid shit.
Yeah.
So he's like, what? And cops? I must be just hallucinating this. Like, so he's like reaching out to touch them. So a car pulls up, another mutual friend, right? He's like, fucking, dude, like, jump in. Opens the door. I feel like Florida's one of those places, too, where we got, like, high-speed chases. We got, like,
Oh, yeah.
So fucking runs to the car, fucking jumps in the car, and just takes off and like, whatever. And the cops don't chase us, right?
They're not.
So he's
So
fucking...
this is you and the acid buddy jump into the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then you take off down the road.
Yeah. So brings us back to my apartment. And dude is like, having a good time on the car ride. He's like, oh...
Has no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah, like, holy shit, that was real. Like, wait. And we're like telling him, like, dude, we saved you. And he's like, oh, thank you. Like, no idea what's going on. Exactly. So we get back to my place, and now I'm, like, taking care of him because there's nothing else to do. It's, Tallahassee, which is a fun place, but, like, at 2 a.m. after the after
Yeah,
party.
it's not.
Yeah, that's the end of
Jacksonville was the same way after 1 o'clock, 1:30. You're like, all right, shut it down. Everything's closed.
Yeah, so...
Except Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly. T-Bell, dude. Hell yeah. Late night. I wish we could play that bell sound. Yeah. So he like, I'm trying to take care of him, but he starts having a bad trip, know? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 tabs of acid, cops, high-speed pursuit. Yeah. I would understand that he was a little trippy.
Yeah, it starts crying, dude. Like, fucking, like, I'm trying to ask him what's going on, and he's basically like crying and like wobbling and then like falling back on the bed. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? He's like, I'm getting pulled into these wormholes, dude, like Alice in Wonderland, like going down the rabbit hole. And this went on for like 6 hours.
Jesus Christ!
I was like, fuck this, dude. Honestly, like,
By hour 2, you're like, all right, dude, I'm over it. Like, fucking take a shower, do something, get out of here.
yeah, I'm like, all right, I told him to take the acid, so like I gotta take care of him, but like I'm exhausted. Like, he's lucky that I'm his friend right now. This is fucking crazy.
Did he eventually fall asleep?
Yeah, well, actually, so eventually I brought him over to another mutual friend's house.
You pawned him off.
And like I think like they had a good time, but I was like, I
gotta take a nap.
Yeah,
I'm tired, dude. Dude, this is fucking fun, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Plug everything one more time. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Instagram freely_Jamie, and come see me at a show.
Yeah. Or if you need something done with pure math,
Hell yeah.
that's your guy. Do you still do math stuff?
I have a tattoo of a math equation. Does that count?
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T Comedy on all social media, BrennanTComedy.com. Special is going to be coming out in a couple months. Keep your eyes out for that. We'll talk to y'all next week.
Boom. Hell yeah, dude.
Dude, that was great, man.